A final word. Be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on all of God's armour so that you will be able to stand firm against all strategies of the devil. For we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in this dark world, and against evil spirits in the heavenly places. Therefore, put on every piece of God's armour, so you will be able to resist the enemy in the time of evil. Then after the battle, you will be standing firm. Stand your ground, putting on the belt of truth and the body armor of God's righteousness. For shoes, put on the peace that comes from the good news, so that you will be fully prepared. In addition to all of these, hold up the shield of faith to stop the fiery arrows of the devil. Put on salvation as your helmet, and take the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Pray in the Spirit at all times and on every occasion. Stay alert and be persistent in your prayers for all believers everywhere. I don't know about you, but I don't wake up every morning and think about the armor that I have to put on today to protect myself in battle. I don't worry about whether my suit of armor is back from the dry cleaners or if my helmet is clean and polished. We don't wear armor these days. But 2,000 years ago, when Paul was writing this letter, armor was essential. It was an essential part of the life. As physical battles were waged, if you didn't have armor, you were on borrowed time. I can't imagine the physical weight of all the armor that a soldier would have to wear 2,000 years ago. But I bet it was heavy. I bet it was cumbersome. I bet it was restrictive. But it was the very thing that preserved their life. It made them strong and powerful and resistant to the enemy. And as he's writing this letter to the Ephesian church, Paul borrows that picture and lets us know that wearing the spiritual armor of God is what keeps us strong and powerful and resistant to the enemy. Ephesians 6 verse 10 says, a final word, be strong and mighty in the Lord and in his power. What are the pieces of armor that help us to be strong and mighty in the Lord's power? And Paul tells us it's the belt of truth. Truth is the belt that holds all the other pieces of the armor in place. And then there's the breastplate of righteousness, being in right relationship with God and right relationship with others is a vital part of our faith that protects our heart. The shoes of the gospel, we put on gospel shoes that will allow us to go wherever the Lord leads. The shield of faith. And when temptations come, faith keeps us steadfast in following Jesus. The helmet of salvation protects the head, which is perhaps the most vital piece of armor because it guards the mind and our thoughts. The sword of the Spirit, which is an offensive weapon rather than a defensive weapon. It both protects us and destroys our enemy. That sword is the word of God and is sharper than a double-edged sword. It's the same weapon that Jesus used to defeat Satan in his temptation in the desert. We fight against a spiritual battle, not a battle with people or with earthly powers, but one waged in the spiritual realm. It's Christ's power that we clothe ourselves in to see breakthrough in our lives and the lives of those around us. Because we choose to armor up each day, we are equipped to fight the battle that wages around us. So, what armor do you need to choose to put on daily to be strong and mighty? Where do you feel weak where you need to feel strong?